November 1922. Howard Carter stood at the bottom of a dusty excavation trench, staring at a single stone step emerging from the Egyptian sand. For 6 years, he had searched the Valley of the Kings. 6 years of failure. 6 years of watching hundreds of laborers dig beneath the relentless desert sun, while the rest of the archaeological world insisted he was chasing a fantasy. Now, with his career hanging by a thread, everything rested on one carved stone. Only weeks earlier, Carter had received an ultimatum from the wealthy English aristocrat funding his work, Lord Carnarvon. One final excavation season. If they failed again, the search would end forever. Most experts believed the Valley of the Kings had surrendered all its secrets decades earlier. The tombs of Egypt's greatest rulers had already been uncovered. Those that remained had almost certainly been robbed thousands of years before. Howard Carter refused to accept it. One king was still missing, Tutankhamun, a little-known pharaoh who had ruled Egypt more than 3,000 years earlier before dying unexpectedly while still a teenager. His name appeared throughout the archaeological record. His tomb did not. To Carter, that made no sense. Kings did not simply disappear somewhere beneath the valley. Tutankhamun was still waiting. When one of the workmen uncovered a carved stone step beneath the sand, Carter immediately sensed this was different. The men carefully cleared away more sand. A second step emerged, then another. Soon, an entire staircase descended beneath the desert toward a sealed doorway. Across its ancient plaster were the unmistakable seals of the royal necropolis. For a moment, nobody spoke. If those seals had remained unbroken, the tomb beyond might still be untouched. Every instinct told Carter to force the entrance open immediately. Instead, he covered the staircase once more and sent a telegram to England. At last have made wonderful discovery in Valley, a magnificent tomb with seals intact. Then came the longest wait of his life. 3 weeks later, Lord Carnarvon arrived in Egypt with his daughter, Lady Evelyn Herbert. Together they descended the staircase. The ancient doorway still stood before them, exactly as Carter had left it. He picked up a small chisel. One careful strike, then another. A tiny hole appeared. Warm air escaped from the darkness beyond, air that had remained trapped inside the tomb for more than 3,000 years. Holding a candle through the opening, Carter leaned forward. At first, nothing. Then the flickering flame caught something. Gold. His eyes slowly adjusted. Golden statues, magnificent chariots, jeweled chests, ceremonial beds carved into the shapes of sacred animals. Treasures filled every corner of the chamber, untouched by time. Behind him, Carnarvon finally whispered the question history would never forget. "Can you see anything?" Without taking his eyes from the chamber, Carter replied, "Yes, wonderful things." The discovery stunned the world. Unlike almost every royal tomb found before it, Tutankhamun's had escaped large-scale looting. Thousands of extraordinary objects remained exactly where ancient Egyptian priests had placed them over 3,000 years earlier. For months, Carter and his team painstakingly photographed, cataloged, and removed each treasure before advancing deeper into the tomb. Then they reached the burial chamber. At its center stood a massive stone sarcophagus. Inside were 3 coffins, each nested inside the next. The innermost coffin was made of solid gold. When it was finally opened, the face of the young king emerged beneath an extraordinary funerary mask of gold, lapis lazuli, and precious stone. It instantly became one of the most famous artifacts in human history. The world celebrated. Newspapers called it the greatest archaeological discovery ever made. Howard Carter became an international celebrity. It should have ended there. Instead, another story began. Almost immediately, rumors spread through Cairo that the tomb carried an ancient curse. Some newspapers claimed mysterious warnings had been found near the entrance. Others insisted the spirits of the pharaohs punished anyone who disturbed their eternal rest. There was little evidence for any of it, but the rumors refused to disappear. Then, just months after entering the tomb, Lord Carnarvon fell seriously ill. The cause seemed almost absurd. A mosquito had bit his cheek. While shaving, he accidentally cut the bite. The wound became infected. Within days, the infection spread throughout his body. Despite every effort by doctors, Lord Carnarvon died. The newspapers erupted. The pharaoh's curse claims its first victim. Suddenly, strange stories appeared everywhere. Some claimed the lights across Cairo mysteriously failed at the exact moment Carnarvon died. Others reported that his favorite dog collapsed dead in England at precisely the same time. Whether either story was true no longer mattered. The legend had taken on a life of its own. Every unexpected death connected to the excavation became another headline. An archaeologist died. A visitor became ill. Another man passed away after traveling through Egypt. Each coincidence seemed to strengthen the curse. Few newspapers mentioned that dozens of others connected with the discovery lived long and perfectly ordinary lives. Fear sold newspapers. Facts did not. As the years passed, historians examined the evidence more carefully. Many of the so-called victims had only the weakest connection to Tutankhamun's tomb. Others died decades later from completely unrelated causes. Lord Carnarvon himself had suffered poor health long before arriving in Egypt, and in the days before antibiotics, even a minor infection could prove fatal. Howard Carter, the man who spent more time inside the tomb than anyone else, survived for another 17 years. Perhaps there never was a curse. Perhaps coincidence, superstition, and sensational journalism combined to create one of history's greatest myths. Or perhaps some stories endure because they refuse to be completely explained. More than a century has passed since Howard Carter first looked through that tiny hole in the ancient doorway. Millions of people have since stood face to face with Tutankhamun's golden mask. Historians still debate the curse. Scientists still analyze the tomb. Visitors still walk its corridors in silence, not because they expect ancient magic, but because they know they are standing in a place that remained hidden from the world for more than 3,000 years. Howard Carter set out to find a forgotten king. Instead, he uncovered one of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever made, and one of history's greatest mysteries. Even today, the story of Tutankhamun asks the same haunting question it did in 1922. Was the pharaoh's curse nothing more than coincidence? Or were some doors never meant to be opened?